Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second really rough episode of Game Over Ottawa in as many games, I think. The upside is I'm not alone this time. This time I got my buddy Matt with me, who foolishly accepted uh, to come on the show. Matt, how are you doing, man? Like even outside of like just hockey, like do you have any positivity on your end tonight?
Um, the quote that comes to mind right now is the Brennan Lee Mulligan one, "I will die on any hill."
Okay.
Um, just sort of feels like the Sens are dying everywhere. I don't like that's
Right.
not what the saying means, but it's bleak out on these ice sheets. It's not good.
It's not great. One thing I will mention before we continue, everyone, I've been having a few mic issues. I mentioned this on last episode, so if for some reason I cut out, please let me know. I'm keeping a close eye on it, but we don't want too many technical difficulties on this episode. But there is some good news, and the good news is this: now that the show has started, I am under an hour away from not having to think about this hockey team for a while. Um, so that's nice. Um, uh, yeah, Mod's doing the show tomorrow night, and I'm taking a night off. I'm just not gonna watch the game. I'm gonna be completely honest there. I'm just not watching the game tomorrow night. I can't do it. So I have until Tuesday to shift focus and put all of my energy into wanting the Toronto Blue Jays to sign Shohei Ohtani and trade for Juan Soto, two players who are pretty much generational talents, and two players also who the Jays weren't like rumored to be seriously in on until the last 48 hours or so. So I can't wait to instead put all of my hopes and dreams, sports related, into something else that probably won't happen. So it'll be a fun way to come, crashing right back down to earth, and then the next day I'll be able to watch the hockey game.
It's kind of for you who are those of you who aren't like big baseball fans. It's kind of like if you were to add Claude Giroux and Alex DeBrincat in one off season,
My
sudden
God,
contenders.
dude. Come
So
on. Oh,
yeah, two elite scorers.
oh my God. Oh,
This team's bad.
this.
You like I knew they were, but I was texting you throughout the game and I was like really paying attention to like the sort of stratagems, the more so than usual, like the plan on the ice.
The,
And
the systems, if you will, the alleged
yeah,
systems. Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
was left wanting. They did just sort of load up the slot and just sort of shoot from wherever once they got outmaneuvered and couldn't find a better shot. And on defense, they
Yeah.
just sort of hung out and didn't really zone or a man mark, just sort of existed in if you were to take a photo of any moment of Sen's defensive hockey, it would look like there's a plan in place. But that falls apart quickly in GIF or even video format, which was not great to realize because I'm on about probably like if I had to guess, I'd say like I've watched maybe 5 of the games this year. I'm here purely on nepotism, not on merit. Um, my dad is Jonathan Senators, but the they're not very good.
No. Important note for anyone who's watching who hasn't watched the game. So the Sens lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-2. It was
Yep,
the
yep, yep, yep.
battle of the two bottom teams in the Eastern Conference. Now here's an important note though. Here's an important note. The Sens were now this is purely coming into the game. The Sens were 2 points back of Columbus and dead last in the Eastern Conference. Keep in mind though, the Sens had 7 games in hand on Columbus,
Which is a lot.
which is a lot. Columbus tied for the most games played in the NHL this season at 24. The Sens by far in last with 17. I know people have seen Sens fans complaining about the schedule a lot this month, and a lot of people are just saying, well, it's because they went to Sweden. The Sens have played coming into this game. The Sens had played before tonight 17 games. The second least in the league was 20. Two
It
the other teams in Sweden, two of them played 21 games up to now, and the other played 22. It's just the Sens for some reason have just spread out in
I
November,
I
regardless of where they
remember
are.
I remember going at like a month ago or so before the Sweden trip. I was looking at their schedule, and I genuinely, just from the dates of games, could not guess when their Sweden trip was. Like
Right?
I
It's
think I remember
so
talking to you, it was like, oh, they're going to Sweden next week, and you're like, it's in 3. And I was like, oh, then why don't they play this week?
it
And
made no sense.
and they
They
didn't
yeah,
play, and they didn't play the past week. They haven't played since Monday.
no.
That's and
Yeah,
now they're playing every other day in December,
yeah,
like,
their
on
second game
average.
in Sweden was on a Saturday. They didn't play again until the Friday, Monday, and now Friday again. They've played 3 games since Sweden, and they haven't played in Sweden since whenever that was, the what, the 18th. It's been nearly 2 weeks. They've played 3 games since completing the games in Sweden. So the only upside is that, November wasn't as bad as it usually is. I think that just means we're in for a really awful December.
Well, it's hard to blame the schedule makers for not wanting to see Sens hockey.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, man, they're not being done any favors. But I wouldn't say they're deserving of any favors. It's bad.
It's bad, dude.
This
And that's the thing too. Like, important to note that yes, the Sens are last of the East, potentially somewhat because of the lack of games played. However, Columbus is the only team in the East with a worse point percentage than the Sens. So they're down there because they don't play, and also down there because when they do play, they play like shit. Like, let's be real. The 2 wins in Sweden, despite the fact that they were wins, weren't good ones. So they've now lost 3 in a row, and dating
again.
back, I would say 5 bad games in a row, even dating back to those 2 wins in Sweden. So
Well,
yeah,
prior to that, it was like 1 win over Toronto, and then the 5 games before that were, I think, a losing streak, right?
yeah, it's been really just, I don't know. They lost the first game of the season, won 3, and since then it's been like lose 5, gain a bit of ground, lose 3, gain. It's brutal. Um, So yeah, now the Sens, with how busy because of November being so weird, in December, I think they play 15 games in December. So
Yeah.
I, not to quote myself, but I tweeted this earlier where I said that at the beginning of November I was really pissed off that the Sens had a stretch of only 4 games in 19 days. Now that it's December, I'm pissed off that I have to watch this fucking team every other night. So how much so much can change in just 30 days.
It it feels a little like the sort of malaise that's sitting over the Ottawa Red Blacks. Not quite the same, because in Ottawa, you look at the team on paper and you're like, they should be good. Whereas, or sorry, on the Sens, they should be good, and them being mediocre or below is a disappointment. Whereas the Red Blacks are um really bad and have been for now 6 years. But the sort of same thread is, it doesn't feel like there's, I don't want to call it apathy, but maybe like hopelessness. It just under the current way they're going out the hockey, like, it's that they outshot, they had like 40 shots this game, and none of them felt dangerous apart from maybe that early scramble, and that
Dude,
even then was just firing the puck
a,
into bodies. It was
a
just like,
cor- I swear by Natural Stat Trick, it's like in my top 3 favorite websites on the planet. That's how much of a stupid hockey nerd I am. Allegedly, high danger chances in all situations were 18-5 in favor of the Sens. Neither one of those numbers feels right. The
is
18
it
or the
still a high danger?
5.
Is it still a high danger chance if you fire it right at the goalie's chest? Is it purely genuinely? Is it purely location based? Because like, in that
Actually,
metric, I could see it, but the shots,
yeah.
like the shot
No,
selection, the shot
Mod and I
placement
had this
was.
conversation where we're like, what exactly is, like, what constitutes a high danger chance? Is it any clear shot from anywhere? Do you have to be in the slot, whether it's like
I
contested or not?
I
I
know
honestly have no idea. I
I
just
know
kind of
in
eyeball
soccer
test it.
expected I know in soccer expected goals is measured primarily by shot location, like where you are when you fire it.
Right. So,
I don't think.
and on that subject, expected goals in all situations, Sens 4.06, Columbus 1.46. So, like, that's the thing. Everything on Natural Stat Trick, all of these stats, Corsi, Fenwick, shots, scoring chances, high danger chances, expected goals, everything is telling me I should be happy with the Sens' effort. And yet I'm struggling to pull anything positive out of that game at all.
Do you remember I don't know how many years ago it'd be now, but there was some guy who was like, "Oh, if we start valuing Corsi, the teams are just gonna the players are just gonna shoot to bump up their Corsi ratings." And I mean, obviously that was nothing, but I feel like if you were to play that strategy, that's what the Sens would look like. Just getting anywhere they could in the blue zone and just like firing and being like, yeah, I hope this tips something. Our plan is to have a guy or two in front of the net. Hopefully, it bounces off something. It doesn't really matter where we're shooting from. Like this is what it would look like. And on the defensive end, like they held their formation, whatever, and it just wasn't very good. And they allowed like every Columbus shot felt like a dangerous shot because they were uncontested both from the shooting, the where the shot was being fired from, and because in front of the net, Columbus was just unmarked. Like every Columbus, like
Yeah.
I think the fourth Columbus goal was just like a shot from like high slot and just no one was just really in the way. I mean, even the Sillinger goal was just a tip when he was just floating in the slot. No one marked him. The shot wasn't dangerous. It's like play
Yeah.
hockey. Play hockey. I
And
don't think.
yeah, yeah, play hockey. And it's a good point here from Hamza in the chat where just it's not just the systems, it's the lack of effort. And this kind of dates back to, do you remember a while ago, like when the Fire DJ chance first started and both Kachuk and Giroux were kind of like, hey guys,
Yes.
shut up. We're trying out here. Honestly, I don't want to be the, like, like, I mean, look at me. Anyone who disagrees with me can like throw that really sick dunk where they say this guy doesn't play hockey. You're right, I'm too fat, I can't fit in hockey pants. But like listen, I feel like as someone who, like, not to toot my own horn, but like anyone, you know on SDPN should at least have watched like maybe a dozen hockey games in their life before getting hired. Like we kind of know what we're talking about a little bit, just a little bit. I don't want to say these guys aren't trying, because like it's tough to like gauge effort
Oh,
levels
it's
when,
possibly like certain of that, but
yeah, but like you said it yourself, these guys are just fucking, they're floating around. And like I mentioned this on a show a while ago. This has got to be a few. I mean, because just how little the Sens have played. This is like several games ago. So this has to be like weeks ago where I said, like, if these guys really, really want to keep DJ around and they want him to keep his job and they like him so much, why does it look like they're doing fuck all out there all the time? Like, wouldn't you want to try for this coach? And like, is it a lack of effort, or are they just this bad? I don't think they're this bad.
well, that's the thing. They shouldn't on paper. This is a good team. I mean, I can't speak to the depth pieces as much, but like your top 2-3 lines and your top four defensemen, granted when healthy, they have injuries, but like are good enough to match up against pretty much anyone. And I mean, they didn't score
It's just
after the
not
first like
working.
10 minutes.
It's just, I don't know, man.
But I was texting you about this again, and it's like on defense, it doesn't look like they're having defensive breakdowns so much as just the defense doesn't work. Like it's not like they're getting like exposed and like thrown around. It's just like they're where they want to be on the ice, either by coaching or by effort or by their personal knowledge of the sport. And
Yeah.
then they're standing where they want to be, and then the puck goes by and it's in the net. And I mean, I know he made allowed 4 saves on 22, I want to say shots, low 20 shots, but like it didn't feel like a goaltending, didn't feel like goaltending malpractice. It didn't feel like the defensive system got, broken apart and shredded. It felt like
Yeah.
this is what a Sens game is. You go out there and you allow uncontested shots that go in, and you get to the offensive end, and it the offensive philosophy feels like the old Eugene Melnick, get in the playoffs and anything can happen. It's like get in the blues, get in the offensive zone, fire a shot from, maybe.
Yeah, and
I guess, but
yeah, I don't. This is another game I don't really put much of it on Corpusalo. I think there's a couple goals that he would want back, but like that Laine goal was just a perfect shot. He had no chance, which is infuriating, by the way. Patrick Laine, all you have to do to really just like turn your season around is play the Sens. Dude was a healthy scratch at one point this year. Like that's how much he's struggling this season. And then there was I think it was the Boone Jenner goal was like a really tricky deflection in front of the net. Like
And the cylinder one was that one-handed
yeah, like
deflection just way
fine.
out in there.
I've had Corpusals back like majority of the season so far, which is wild because I came into the season being like this contract is going to be a nightmare. But like he's proven me wrong as much as he possibly can with this defense not helping him at all. Like on Monday after that 5-0 loss to Florida, I said he should demand a trade because like his defense is doing nothing for him. They are
No, yeah, because like
sewering his
his
numbers.
numbers are getting destroyed by
Yeah.
what's in front of him, the Ottawa goaltending tradition. But it's not wouldn't be the first time, but it may be the most severe
Cam
case. But
Talbot, baby. Um,
R.I.P.
who is rocking what? Like, is he still rocking a 928 in LA? I think it's pretty
I
damn
feel like it
close
was
to
in the
that.
930s.
It was. I think it's come down a little bit. It's come down a little bit to high 20s, I think. But
Lucky us.
it's yeah. Um uh here from Quantum in the chat. Anyone blaming goaltending should be Clockwork Orange Esquire forced to watch actual bad goaltending. Now,
And we've seen some.
and we've listen in Ottawa, we've seen some, and you can watch it right now. Actually, I think Edmonton's last few games have completely turned around. But if you want to watch actual bad goaltending, watch the Oilers' first 15 games or so of the season. Um, which I mean, granted, also I didn't watch that many Oilers games this season, so maybe it was a similar issue with defensive, like complete defensive breakdowns. I don't know. All I know is that I didn't feel as bad because the team with McDavid and Draisaitl was like free falling, and now they immediately weird. Okay, this is actually bad. This is a bad example. I was gonna say weird how after a coaching change they've turned it around, which they have. Not that I think that their previous coach. Not that I think that Jay Woodcroft was the issue before. I'm just desperate for any reason for management to look at this team and be like, maybe we should change the coach after fans have been asking for it for over a year. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how much you want to talk about coaching because I went in on it last episode.
I mean, we can recap the game and see where we go from there. You're the one steering the ship.
I don't even know if I
So
want to really recap the
real
game,
quick
man. This was
though,
brutal.
real quick, Elvis, I'm gonna get it wrong. Merzlikins,
Merzlikins
Merzlikins. His save percentage went up 4 notches after this game.
in one
It
game.
went from 907 to 911.
Wow.
I mean,
Playing the Sens, man.
It wasn't even a shutout. He allowed 2 goals and it still went up 4 notches.
That's what happens with the Sens, but you face so many like low
Mediocre
danger
to bad
shots.
shots.
It's just yeah.
You
It's
face
crazy.
guys getting. Erica Branson has 9 points, but you face guys just turning around. At the end of the blue zone, you just nothing passes, and then eventually they get caught, and they're like, I better shoot it.
Yeah. But yeah, no. At this point now with that win, Columbus is now 4 points clear of Ottawa. Granted, still Ottawa still has 7 games in hand, but that doesn't look as good.
We have time to make up. We have time to catch those losses they have.
Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, dude,
this is
I
a
don't
team
know.
that's supposed to be in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, no, honestly, this is the first season where it's playoffs or bust. That's just I don't know what to do with this team, dude. Like I don't even know what you can chalk it up to for this game. Like it's Shabbat's first game since October 26th, so I'm not gonna blame him. But like he didn't look great.
He blew a couple. No, he had some bad playing. There was one an odd man rush where he was like just sort of trying to get in the way and just got walked, and it looked like it was going in slow motion. I think it was in the first period.
Yeah.
And it's just he didn't look very good. But again, I don't know. No one looked egregious to me. Again, it looked like this was everything.
It was a group effort. It
looked like this is how the Sens are trying to play, and it doesn't work at an NHL level. And
Yeah.
I'm just some guy. I'm wrong all the time, more often than I'm right. But goodness.
Yeah. I do at this that's the thing at this point. Listen, you had 3 days off. You are playing what is without a doubt currently the weakest team in the Eastern Conference other than yourselves. There is no excuse to not those first 10 minutes should have been the whole game.
They were on the power play for that. A lot of that. I think it was 3 in a row. But I mean, they look. I mean,
And anything less than domination is unacceptable in this game. If they
yeah.
squeaked out a 3-2 win, I would have been like, that's pathetic.
And they
So
did.
at this
They
point, it's a
they
fucking
went. I don't know when the
problem.
last. I don't know when their last goal was, but they went at least 2.5 periods without one,
Yeah,
and they
it's
got
awful.
annihilated by. And Columbus has a bad penalty kill, and they still got beat up and
Oh
down there.
no.
And
Dude, Hamza in the chat says Shabbat and DJ blame the bounces in their interviews, their post game
cool,
interviews.
you have 10 losses in 18 games. How many bounce? Like at a certain point, it's not the bounces.
Yeah, how are you getting bad bounces in like all of your games?
I will grant the one off the boards that was a shot on net was weird, but
Yeah, yeah, sure. If that had gone in, like, what's more sense hockey than that?
that's true.
I thought
It
that was going
just
in.
I don't think it's the bounces. I think I'm not saying that's not a thing, but
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Three's if three's a pattern, what's 10?
yeah, yeah. And to further that, just really just playing like shit. The Sens currently have they are in. Oh, that's fun. They've passed Winnipeg. They are now 19th in the league in their power play, which is unacceptable with this talent up front. 19th on the power play, and we're 30th on the PK.
Yeah, there it is.
Um, also their 5-on-5 this year sucks so bad. There is no part of their game that is even remotely close to good enough to keep them afloat. Nothing. Nothing.
Neither here nor there. I saw
five on
someone.
five sucks. Your power play sucks. Your PK sucks. But when you get those bounces, when that happens,
The
it is gonna
goaltending has been
happen.
the goaltending has not been good. I'm not blaming him for this one, but the goaltending has not been very good.
Yeah, like I said this on the last episode where I'm like, I'll give you like Forsberg hasn't been good enough. Outside of that like the shootout win against Minnesota and Sweden, great game from him. That's about it. Korpisalo has been hung out to dry constantly.
Yes.
Before Monday's game against Florida, like Florida's game and this game tonight has killed his numbers. But in his 8 appearances before Monday, his previous 8 appearances, he had a 921.
Which is crazy, especially how bad most goalies were last year. That's tremendous.
Yeah, it's I like you can't ask for more than that. And then he just gets absolutely left out there with no help for 2 games in a row, giving up 9 goals in 2 games. And you
Just
can blame him
deflections
for
and empty shot.
maybe
Just
2 total, right? Like it's
again,
awful.
I
It's
don't think anything
awful.
he gave up was egregious. I think it was just like they were unblocked, uncontested, tipped shots.
Yeah.
The goalie is only like stop them from doing that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's when it's on. I think it was. I can't remember if it was after the 3rd or the 4th goal for Columbus, but the next shift, the 4th line was on the ice.
No, I
I
was
was
about to say
so mad.
I saw someone say the fourth line was on with like 2 minutes left or five
Yeah,
minutes left within 5 minutes they left. And
yeah. It's just I don't know.
for a team that's going on like a decade of depth problems, that is a decision.
Yeah, yeah. And towards the end of the game, they were like, "We really need this tie. We need to tie this game. We're down by 2." And maybe they were just caught on a long change that got interrupted or something. But it sure looked like Rourke Chartier was out there with Kachuk and Stutzla, or
They
Kachuk
also
and
went they also
Giroux.
went
Anyway,
offside.
it's just yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know.
It's
What do you say? Should we head to the chat, see if anyone has any specific comments or questions? Throw them in the chat right now, and we'll
Yeah,
get to them in a little
throw
bit
them in the
here.
chat. I want to go back just real quick, cathartically, to just be like, this is a season with expectations. This is a team, and they've had defensive injuries, and that account, obviously that matters. They had half their defense out for a bit, but like this is a season with expectations, and it is the exact same as the tanking seasons.
Yeah. Honestly, watching this game, I was shocked that like Derek Stepan and Zach Sanford and fucking Nikita Zaitsev weren't on the ice. I was like, this.
The ghost of Johnny Oduya was out there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God,
Christy
Ben Harper
Domenico's
took a
been
lap.
bring back Christy Domenico. He's killing it in Sweden. Him and Tom Pyatt. I think Pyatt retired, but
Take him out of retirement.
take him
We
out of
need him.
retirement. He'll come out of retirement for a mill.
See what Zach Smith
Um,
is up to.
Zach Smith had decent numbers going when he retired.
Yeah,
Eric Greiba could be fished out of retirement. Um, blanking on his name. Uh, from Latvia.
Dogvins.
Dogvins has been killing it for years.
Yeah.
He's terrific
Oh,
in
dude,
Europe.
you remember Roman Wick?
I try not to.
Killing it in Switzerland, bro.
Yeah. At least that'd be
Yeah.
fun. At least that'd be funny.
Oh, I don't know, man. It just, oh, it's awful.
Just a
Let's
team
see
of
here.
guys you've once heard of.
Oh, here
A
we
team
go.
of guys.
Okay, so
Guys.
in the chat, Quantum says, I have a sicko question.
Proceed.
If you tomorrow had to pick 7 players to keep on this team and everyone else gets traded, who are you keeping? Whoa. Oh. If I had to pick 7 players to keep and trade everyone else and just like build around that, I mean, Brady, Timmy, Sanderson. Those are the 3 like must keeps.
Yeah, easy picks.
Uh,
Norris and
Norris
Shabbat,
has
I
been
think.
struggling a bit, but yeah, Norris.
They've been struggling, but if you're building a team for the future, Norris and Shabbat,
You're
I
right.
think.
Norris, Giroux. Then I'm at 5, and I need.
Corpusalo.
That's the thing. I'm thinking Korpisalo,
Chychrun?
and then you got to pick between Shabbat and Chychrun.
I guess
That's tricky.
the way this season's going, I guess Chychrun and Corpusalo. And then they'd
Yeah.
go 2-80 and
Yeah, which is brutal because like
Short
Shabbat
bench, but-
having a slow start, but like we've seen how bad this team is without Thomas Shabbat. Like Jacob Chychrun can't be your guy playing 30 minutes. Like you can't do that. It's just you can't do it. So that is a tough question. But yeah, no, I'm gonna lock in Tkachuk, Stützle, Giroux, Norris, Sanderson, Chychrun, Korpisalo. That's my locked in 7. Oh, Delta in the chat going with a Ridley Gregg in the mix there.
it depends on if you're trying to win a game tomorrow or in 5 years. I think is
That's true too. That's true
a little
too.
bit of a question there, but
Oh, forgot about goalies. You can do 8. All right, I'll throw in Shabbat. I'll throw in Shabbat to round it out to 8.
I'll probably still go without a goalie. See what happens.
You've
I
seen
think
how the
part-
Sens play with an empty net, dude. That's your funeral.
I think part of the problem with hockey is there's not enough experimentation. I think we should try some different formations. Maybe like a 2 offense, 3 defense, or a maybe like a 1 offense, 5 defenders, no goalie.
6 goalies. Just see what happens.
I'm taking it to a joke extreme. I do genuinely think there isn't enough with how other sports operate. Hockey feels very uniform in its formation, uniform everything, but
Yeah,
uniform
I
in its
remember-
formations.
When I remember it was like the first time someone tried this, it was like a few years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. Like it's something that should have been tried before it was, but I remember like just everyone online being like, holy shit, this team, I can't remember what team it was, but like a team was trying 5 forwards on the power play and people were losing their minds. It's like,
I remember 4 forwards on the power play was revolutionary. Like, yeah, obviously do that.
Yeah. I don't know.
It feels that's part of what I struggle to be like with the coaching. It's like it feels like and I know I'm an idiot, and this is not true, but it feels like every hockey like coach runs out the same exact formation, and their job is like line changes. It feels like or maybe that's just the effect of Sens hockey TM, but it does very much feel like go out there and play. Do we have a plan? No, do your hockey thing. You play hockey. I mean, with the exception of Guy Boucher and his um whole thing.
Oh fuck, dude! How do you think Guy Boucher would have felt about this November with his whole rest as a weapon thing? He would have loved it.
Well, not if the results are like this.
No, but they're
Um,
resting, and they're it's a weapon.
they're weaponized for sure.
They are.
The weapons are
Yeah.
the weapons. They have weapons. They have a whole arms locker,
Yeah.
the Ottawa Armory. But
Oh man. So hold on, let me refresh this. I want to see how close the points percentage is now between Ottawa and Columbus, just to upset myself. Let's see here, because Ottawa now is worse in the worst in the conference by 4 points, and granted, still 7 points in hand on Columbus, but um, yeah. So now Columbus has a 400 point percentage, and Ottawa's at a 444. It's not much better at all. Oh boy, Ottawa still has a goal differential of only -1, which
that's miraculous.
yeah, uh, and the worst thing, I go back and forth so often trying to figure out what is wrong with this team, and I can never land on one answer because every time I legitimately, like, when I'm not overreacting in front of a camera on YouTube, I
It's on
try to
Twitch.
look through it. Yeah, I try to look through it and like figure out, like, genuinely, I'm like, okay, like, what can I diagnose this team with? And every time it feels like the problem is everywhere.
But again, on paper, they should be a very talented, good team. And then you put them on ice where the hockey is played, not on paper. That's where they get you. And that's
Yeah.
also where they lose by, what is it? We're over the past 2 games, 9-2. Over the past three, it's something like 19 to, no, sorry, my math is off. 14 to like 5.
9-2. What was that
I
first loss back? That was I don't
I
remember
believe
what
it
the score of
I
that
believe
game
it was
was. I'm a bad
4-2 or
fan.
5-2.
I'm a bad fan. I forget what that score was. Um, but anyway, no, they're getting killed. Either way. Um, and listen, like, and this is how bad it is that tonight is the first time in a long, long time. Well, the first time at least between this season and last season, because this is the only time I've been able to like frame it this way. But I thought tonight, I was like, you know what? If not for this job, I would probably give a miss to a lot of games. If there were, like, Friday night or Saturday night games, I might just skip out on entirely if, there was anything on the table, like hanging out with my friends, going to do something, right? Like, which is insane because I prioritized watching this team through all the shit we've had to watch since 2017. This is the first time I've been like, I don't want to watch this team. It is absolutely brutal, and unfortunately, and probably unfairly, a lot of that is coming from management and ownership doing fuck all. It took Pierre Dorian, like, getting the team in trouble to leave the team.
Pierre Dorian almost got arrested. That's how bad it was.
Like, yeah, he wouldn't leave his office. He just kept eating chips. Um,
The only man
and
the only man allowed in was the Gabriel F.
I
Gabriel's
see where
pizza
you're
delivery
going.
man.
No, it was good. Yeah,
Could
DJ.
go for one right
Hold
now.
on. Yeah, let me see if I can find this. Actually, I think it was Jack. I think it was Jack Richardson from Everyday Sens. Um, he tweeted out like the full list of all the coaches who have been tenured with their team longer than the
Yes. No, that
Sens.
was
Was it
I
Jack or who was that?
I think it was Shackles.
Oh, was it Trevor? Okay.
I think so. But no, I saw that as well. And it like
You're right. You're absolutely
yeah.
right. Um,
He's the sixth or seventh longest tenured coach in the
Seventh,
NHL.
yeah. So here's the full list. So all credit to Trevor Shackles at ShackTS on Twitter.
No, you can credit me.
Yeah, I'll credit you for pointing me in the right
Thank you.
direction. So here's all 6 coaches who have had a longer current run than DJ Smith. 1, John Cooper in Tampa, 2 cups. Two, Sullivan in Pittsburgh, 2 cups. Three, Bednar, 1 cup. Four, Rod Brandamore, no cups, but Carolina every year is a threat in the playoffs. Every year. Uh, Five, Berube, 1 cup. Six, McClellan. I mean, yeah, he's right. Turned rebuild into a contender. God, like, and then DJ has a 468 points percentage in his time with. It's like,
Like I
what is management waiting for?
I mean, I want to give him a partial pass because like he went into those years knowing they'd lose in the rebuild, but it nothing changed. We're still here.
It's just
We're
like,
at the salary cap and we're still here.
I don't know. I don't know. I I'm lost. I don't know. In the past, at least last season and this season, when things have been like, I mean, obviously this is like the most dire they've been. I mean, last year November was awful, but then the team turned it around.
But if you could like quit those years because you're like, oh, this team's bad at hockey. Of course they are. We're in a rebuild. The
Yeah,
expectations are higher this year, and they're being met with the same results. We're still rebuilding somehow.
yeah. I don't know. I just, it's so
I
rough,
keep
man.
I keep jumping in and just like squealing with anguish and angst and
Yeah. I'm glad I have the company, man. Monday night show was rough. When I was in here by myself, just like upset. And it's dude, it's
it's
good.
like
It's good. I don't think I forget if I told you. I was supposed to have Travis Yost on that episode.
yeah.
And he couldn't make it. Thank God for him. Like, I
Good
did
for
not want to
him.
put, yeah, good for him. And for you, unfortunately, not only is this a rough game, this is your third time on the show following a Columbus game with the Sens. I don't know how you've managed to, I mean, I'm the one who asked you to come on the show, but like that's just, I don't know why that's what happens.
Yeah, me and the Blue Jackets have beef. I've been to Columbus.
Oh yeah, we talked when Sam was on
Yeah,
the show with us last
yeah,
year.
it's a
Yeah.
college town.
Yeah.
Out. Um, I from where I'm sitting, it's nice to see. Like, I'm glad that you're here. Well, you're always here. I'm not, but it's like it likes. I'm glad someone else is seeing it. I guess that's part of the benefit of Twitter, but like it's
He's thinking the gears are
it's
going.
like watching a really bad movie where there's like not jagged but like jarring cuts and like ill mixed dialogue, poor writing, and and you just want someone to be sitting beside you like you're seeing this too, right? This sucks. You
Yeah. Yeah.
it's an experience in all the wrong ways. Catch the fever.
Yeah. Yeah. Here I'm gonna go back to the chat here for a little bit. Let's see. Um, do. Jonathan says the Sens defensive zone game is AHL tier for real. It's
Genuinely, yes.
it's pretty awful. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So from Thurston Howell, what makes it worse is the high expectation coming into this
Yes,
season.
that's exactly
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and I'm with a lot of Sens fans. I don't know if I'd say I was talking some shit, but like I was definitely like
You were thinking
I
it.
was I thought people were stupid when whoever put Detroit
you
over the
were
Sens in the
walking in
standings.
your overalls plucking your hair
Yeah,
Aaron. You walked into STPN headquarters in Waterloo, Canada. I don't know. Big Steve Dangle. That doesn't mean anything. I just said three words in a row. I was going like Big Brother, but I just said big and then his
the office
name.
is in Toronto. The office is in
Yeah,
Toronto.
but I want him to lie.
No, okay. It's in
You're
Kitchener.
walking in, you're like, Sensier, Sensier, Sensier. And then you put your feet up on your desk. It's labeled Charbly because it's spelt wrong. Because go Sens go. and then you proceed to watch every loss known to man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
talk shit or
dude,
not.
in my interview, during the hiring process, one of the questions they asked me was, where do I think the Sens are finishing in the standings? So this is obviously last season, and
Yeah,
I said that they'd be the best team in the East outside the playoffs, and they weren't even that. Um, Also
I thought
really
you were gonna
ballsy.
say,
I had at the time I had like a wall full of jerseys,
yeah.
and for some reason I thought it would be a good bit to turn my 67s jersey around, so it just said CC. And like immediately Jesse's like, okay, no, we need to talk about the CC jersey. So like,
It's
um
good.
I feel like something about that
I want to pull the curtain
influenced my
back. Are
time
you
with
putting
SDPN right now, which is just like I can't talk about a good hockey team. I can't. I'm not allowed
no?
to.
I pull the curtain back. Are you gonna get that Sens wall back? I'll give
No,
you
I had
my
to move stuff around. I have this dresser
okay.
in the way.
I was gonna say I'll give you my
That's the wrong
Pumple
side here.
jersey.
Yeah, no, I got
R.I.P.
I
Matt Pumple.
no once I get a new office space, it's going back up, I think. But yeah, no, all that to say, last year before the season started, I was pretty confident with the Sens. This year coming into the season, I was even more confident. I mentioned this is a while ago. Whenever that game against Calgary was a while back, I mentioned how the Sens season is going poorly when after how awful that Toronto Blue Jays season was, I'm dying for baseball to come back. Like that's where I'm at.
Especially after how that ended
Yeah.
again.
Even just through the whole season, I was like, this isn't a playoff team. This isn't a playoff team. They sneak in. This isn't a playoff team. Turns out they weren't. Uh, so, I don't know, man. But I think also the Jays were in a rebuild from 2017 through 2020. The Sens have been in a rebuild since 2017 through now. So there were several years there where I kind of forgot how to be a fan of a perennial playoff team. Like I forgot,
They haven't been a
like,
perennial playoff team since 2008.
yeah, that's right. Like, and I just I forgot I forgot how you're supposed to expect a certain standard every game, and I'm still struggling with it a little bit with the Sens. I don't know. I this
It it mirrors the Red Blacks again. Ottawa sports are
At least they won a ship, dude.
they
Like
want to ship in a yeah. It's
in
bleak
season
times in the
3,
capital.
was it their third season?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was their third season.
It
Not
was it
bad.
was
That's
sandwiched in
that's
between two Grey. It was awful season.
lost in the final,
Grey Cup loss, Grey Cup win, playoff loss, Grey Cup loss.
and
Six
then
years
just kind
of
of
six
tanking. Yeah,
6 years with like I think 12 wins total.
3 finals appearances in the span of 4 years is pretty impressive. Even
It
if you just
was.
win the
It
one,
was. That
right?
was a
Like even
good
if you have the
team.
one, yeah,
That was a good team, and now they have no offense and a mediocre defense that gets trotted out there to get run over because the offense can't hold on to the
yeah.
ball. It's a little bit inverse of the Sens because the Sens have a mediocre offense and no defense. But
Yeah, I do think that the only thing keeping it together is like as much as I'm yelling at management and ownership, do something. For the first time ever, underachieving team or not, I still feel like the right people are in charge. The right people are in position to make some decisions.
I would agree with that. For the I would argue for the first time in
Since I've been a fan, Melnick took
yeah, I
over
was
in
gonna say since I've
03.
been paying attention.
Yeah, Melnick took over in 03. I was 7. To me, the Sens weren't like a real thing that affected my mood when I was 7 because I was normal.
Yeah,
Since then, I
like
have
me.
yeah. Since then, I have like fallen into this mindset of my favorite sports teams directly affect my day to day
Yeah,
mood, and
yeah. You should
it's bad.
you should have decided not to care, idiot.
I honestly, dude, I on a daily basis, I am so jealous of casual sports fans. Like, and that's the thing. I still get to enjoy being a casual fan. I'm wearing a Raptors shirt right now. They're
Yeah, they're playing tonight.
mediocre as hell. I don't care. Basketball's fun. I'm not invested. I'm not invested. I'm invested in two teams, and that's enough because they're ruining my life. Not to steal Steve's line. That's Steve's thing. This team is ruining my life. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to steal it, but it's true.
You gotta
It's
find
true.
another way to get your yes. Yeah, he's got two teams ruining his life. You have two teams in a Steve Dangle lawsuit ruining your life.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
copyright, infringement, copyright.
His people have talked to my people. My people are me. I can't afford people.
His people are your coworkers. It's weird.
Yeah. No, these my two favorite sports teams are and it's embarrassing how stressful being like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's like I'm talking about it online publicly, but it is embarrassing how much these teams are like genuinely like stressing me out on a day-to-day basis. It's bad. It's bad. I've told myself to touch grass a dozen times this season.
Can't snow.
Well, not yet. It's been on and off.
Grass is pretty dead.
It's pretty yellow out there. Yeah. Touch some dry grass. It's cold though. Like,
It's cold. I think I want Steve Dangle to know about me against his will.
oh yeah. I'll send him this clip.
Shit.
I'll text him.
No. I just thought it'd be funny to say.
Oh no.
Hubris.
You didn't think it was real.
That's the thing. I jump on this podcast or this stream like once every 3 months. It's like it's not real to me.
Yeah, no, you can say whatever you want.
I'm red and I'm blushing.
You're just here for the bit. You're just here.
I'm here for the bit, and I guess to vent, but I also vent to you. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's
Much like every Sens defender, we're just sort of floating around, not sure of our purpose.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think with that, we'll head back to the chat for a little bit here to round things out for this episode. Anyone in the chat, if you got any thoughts or anything, throw them in there now. We'll wrap up the show with some chat action. From Hams, at least the Blue Jays have a hope of signing Ohtani. The Sens do not have enough cap space for Ohtani, so you're right. That's out of the question.
What would he look like in the NHL? Would he be a goalie forward?
That's a good question.
Would he be a threat from the blue line in full goalie attire?
That's the thing. You can't even really compare him to anyone in the NHL because no one in the NHL is playing multiple positions. Yeah, I don't know. He starts every other game in net, and the other games he's like an unbelievable. I don't know. It's impossible to compare. Let's see here.
See, someone bought Jonathan bought Oppenheimer instead of watching the game, which good move.
I mean, either way, you're in for 3 hours of dread. But one is artistic, so
yeah. One makes you feel like you've spent your time instead of wasting it, I guess would be a way to put it.
Yeah. God.
What?
I just thought about how many hours I spent watching this team over the last.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Over the last
there's a lot of hockey.
7 playoffless years.
I go back sometimes just to the Lightning being founded in the same season as the Sens, and just to see two paths diverge. Like you remember the graph in the John Boyce in the I don't know if it was Dorktown technically, but the Vikings series, like the sort of cumulative win-loss graphs that he kept going back to. Yeah, it's just like that, but the Lightning's one just goes straight up and Ottawa's just goes straight down. And it's like this is the route we take. This is the journey. The ship that won't stop sinking. Like it's And there's new owners and like things will change. I feel bad being like, why are they doing it? Like they just got here, but all like oof.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of those weird games where the show, it's tough to like find a spot to end because it isn't just like it's not like we're like, well, here's what happened in the game. Go to the chat, call it a night. This one, it's just ranting. It's just getting through the
It's
emotional
it's
turmoil of being a
it's just
Sens fan.
it's just all downhill, like the Sens cumulative win loss chart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Quantum in the chat says things will change. It just sucks that we have to waste another season. I'm so glad that
Yeah,
you genuinely believe things will change. I'm
I
losing it.
I don't disagree with that because it feels like this is a new era, a new start. Um, and I get not wanting to be hasty coming in as new ownership, but it's not fun to watch.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm out here yelling about how much I want to change. I'm just really hoping that change isn't Peter Chiarelli.
That'd be funny though. You gotta admit that'd be funny.
Oh, dude, from
Like a
just from
an
yeah, like a
artistic
story,
standpoint, like a
right? Like
performance art standpoint. Like that'd be pretty funny. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd just be like,
if I wasn't a Sens fan, I would totally buy into
oh,
the entertainment
hilarious,
value of it,
hilarious.
you know? It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. Then we could see him be like, "Does Tim Stützle fit this team's culture?" And then ship him out for like whatever
Is he a team
aging vet.
player? Was that what it was?
I don't even remember. I should know. I watched that video so many times. The Bruins management meeting being like, "This Tyler Seguin guy, he's
Remember when the
you
Sens
know,
didn't draft Vasilevsky because he was sunburnt and missed their scouting meeting
oh my
or their scouting
god."
101?
I
Remember when
somehow
that happened?
managed to not think about that for a long time.
It's pretty, again, sucks. From a performance art
Yeah, but then they
standpoint, pretty
but then they would have
funny.
gotten Cece, and you know what Cece got the Sens? Zaitsev. So like, who's ahead here?
2 seasons of Connor Brown or 3 seasons of Connor Brown.
Zaitsev versus Vasilevsky,
We
the two
never would we
Russians.
never
It's
would have
tough to know who you'd want. It's
we
tough to
never
know.
would have seen Cowan on the Leafs or CC on the Leafs. Or what was the Cowan? No, Cowan traded with the
No,
ones from
Cowan never played
college
for
and
the
stuff.
Leafs. He got traded to the Leafs and just never played again.
Not suspicious. Uh
Yeah.
Actually, when I say that out loud, it makes sense. Um
No, the difference is that the Leafs management can like identify defensive talent. That's the difference. Well, compared to the
better.
Sens,
I will say they're better at it. I will not say they can do it.
sure, sure. Um, God. Okay, well let's do a few in here. I'm assuming that's not you, Matt, in the chat. I'm assuming that's a different
No.
Matt. Did the Sens break 500 in December? I am losing hope. They play. The good thing is that they're only 2 games under 500, and they play a ton of games in December. Um, to break 500, they would have to win what, three, and then if they're going 500 past that, 12, so six. So they'd have to win nine of the 15 games to be over 500 heading into January. Nine out of 15. That feels like a lot
The
for this
thing
team.
is, 500 gets you into the playoffs in the NHL. So I'm like, I'm not. It always feels like they at least mathematically have a chance. But when you say that they have to win half their games, like, oh, no chance of that,
Yeah.
and that's not good.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Ugh,
And they got to.
awful.
I think they only have 2 back-to-backs in December, but it was. I mean, it's a lot of games.
It's a lot, and I forget who was someone in the chat mentioned they also play 15 games in January. That's the worst thing too, is
Oh, that's right.
because of how like spread out it's been so far. I imagine the Sens got to be near the top in like number of back-to-back games for the rest of the season. So they're going to be exhausted towards the end of the season. They're going to be playing a whole bunch of back-to-backs, and it's going to be awful.
Maybe that's what they're doing. They're saving their stamina these games where they're just sort of gliding and losing, and they're really gonna kick it up around around the end of the year.
Absolutely awful. Well, what do you say, man? Should we wrap things up here?
Yeah, we didn't recap the game at all.
That's okay. Any Sens fan watching this wouldn't want us to.
Nah, 4-2 loss. You know how goals work.
Yeah, 4-2 loss. Sens hockey, baby. That's how we
Two
Sens up
goals, 4
2-0.
unanswered. Let's roll.
Okay, well, one thing that I know, I'm sure it was Jack Richardson who tweeted this. One thing he did mention is 3 of the last 4 games, the Sens have given up 4 or more unanswered goals. So,
Is that good?
hey, if you don't play for Ottawa, it's great. So,
Ooh.
yeah. With that, we'll set up the next episode here. So that's gonna be tomorrow night, and Maud is gonna be handling the show tomorrow night. Let's just do the next few. Let's just get everyone up to date on what's going on over the next few games. Saturday tomorrow, back-to-back games for the Sens. On the subject of back-to-back games, so yeah, Maud's got the game tomorrow against the Kraken. I will be back on Tuesday for the game against the Rangers. I'll be joined by Tony Ferrari of the Hockey News, and we're going to talk about the lack of Sens prospects in the system, because now that the rebuild is over and everyone's on the roster, the cupboards are empty, baby. So we're going to talk about that. And then on Thursday, it's Sens Leafs, and I'll be back on the show for that one with Armand from Game Over Toronto, and that's going to be a bloodbath in the chat. I can just feel it already. So the next few shows are gonna be fun, for sure. God, I don't know, man. Like, I am dreading watching the Sens, and yet I am so excited for the next few shows. They're gonna be fun.
Maybe they beat a bad Seattle team tomorrow and the vibes change.
And then
Win
things
over the
come crashing
Leafs
down against the probably the number 1 team in the conference.
That's it. The win
in the
against the
Rangers.
Leafs like a month ago, like, oh, the vibes were very good all of a sudden. That fixed it. And it's sports winning, fixes pretty much everything. But
no, the Sens will lose the next 2 games, crush the Leafs, then lose their next 5. That's how it's going to work.
Who's the top prospect this year?
Macklin Celebrini is his name. Right now it's what's the one? Because last year it was like Tank Hard for Bedard. Now it's Lacken for Macklin.
That's what it was. Well, yeah. Hope he likes living in Canada.
Yeah, until
we're not winning the draft lottery. I'm
not. No. Sens would never.
No.
Anyway, with that, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Matt, for agreeing to be on this episode and still coming on despite that game. I just took up your Friday night and made you sad. So,
happens.
It happens. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. If you made it to the end of this episode, would mean a lot if you liked the stream. Helps out a whole lot. And if you're listening to the show after the fact on your podcast streaming platform of choice, I say this every time, but hey, come tune in live after the game if you're able to. It's a lot more fun. Get to interact with you in the chat and just have a grand old time. Or in cases like this, it's like group therapy where we just vent, and it's it's not necessarily fun. Yeah, it's not necessarily fun, but it's actually it's not fun, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's especially productive, but like you still kind of feel better after it, so that's something. At least it's something. So
we're all in like a jail cell, and the bars aren't there. We're not locked in, but none of us are choosing to leave.
That's about right. Yeah, that's about right. So yeah, also subscribe to SDPN, because SDPN is it's closing in on 100K subs at the time of this live stream. 96.4K, closing in on 100K. That's going to be a huge milestone. So obviously really appreciate all the support on not just Game Over Ottawa, but all the Game Over shows in general. And tomorrow's Saturday night, which means most, if not all of them, are going to be on. So plenty of Game Over to watch tomorrow night. Plenty of hockey to watch in general. So should be a good time. I'll be taking the day off, as mentioned before, because I'm a sad little boy. Anyway. Thanks again, Matt, for coming on, dude. I'm sure everyone's gonna see you again before the end of the season. But yeah, with that, I think we're gonna call it a night. Thanks everyone again for watching, and yeah, Mod, we'll talk to you all on Saturday. Have a good night.